right. Well, folks, welcome back to the collaboration podcast episode between the Liberally Social podcast and the Alexandria Brief. We've never done this before and are excited to do so for this City Council firehouse primary between the Democrats this weekend.
So that's right. When one of our hosts goes rogue and runs for office herself, the show must go on. And Ryan of the Alexandria Brief has bravely volunteered to join up with us for this special round of City Council firehouse primary candidate interviews.
Ready to meet the next candidate on our interview slate for the Alexandria City Council Democratic Firehouse primary, everyone? Welcome back to Liberally Social.
And the Alexandria Brief. The Alexandria Brief in collaboration with the Democratic Social Club of ALX. Hold on one second. I forgot. There we go. I forgot my soundtrack, but proudly presents podcasts about, who are all of these candidates and who am I voting for? We get it, and we're here to help listen as we take and watch as we take each candidate not out but in to discuss what on earth is happening.
So we want to help our fellow Alexandrians get to know candidates, like actually get to know them socially. And Marta and I are definitely not journalists, but Ryan is, and we're not here to tell you who to vote for. That is your decision.
We're just a bunch of local politics nerds who are going to invite candidates, have great conversations, and record them all for you to listen to while you furiously email ACPS, not in anger, but in thanks for not closing school for that past special election. Hopefully, it'll help you make some decisions when the firehouse primary election day rolls around on Saturday. You see, what we're doing here is actually a public service.
All right, let's all introduce ourselves so everyone knows who's here today. I am Ryan Belmore. I am the publisher of the Alexandria Brief and live here in the city of Alexandria. We don't have a citizens association. I'm one of the few, but I live in the Timber Branch area for those who were wondering.
Great. I'm Anh Phan, and I live in Delray.
Marta Schantz. I'm in Rosemont.
Today, we're welcoming the guest of honor, candidate for Alexandria City Council, Tim Laderach. Tim, how are you?
Doing good. Hello, everyone. That's
okay,
me.
Tim.
I am Tim.
Now, we are going to go directly to our way of getting to know you, Tim, the person, and helping our listeners and viewers connect by running through what we like to call our list of essential questions for assessing a person's character. I'm going to ask them to you rapid fire, and the goal is to get through as many of them as we can in just a few minutes. Got it?
Got it. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So, Tim, do you have any pets?
I do. We have two golden retrievers, Kona and Maui.
I sense a theme. Okay. Car, bike, train, bus, metro, scooter, or your own 2 feet? What is your favorite mode of transportation?
This is a good one. So I will say 2 feet, and just briefly, because whenever I travel to a new place, I'm always looking to get a run in, and I find that to be the best way to explore the area.
Who is a political figure that you admire?
For me, I would say Harry Truman is one of my the presidents I've read about, and have his biography and all that. Coming from a small town, I guess it resonates with me. Coming from a small town, him in Missouri, me from Ohio, and making his way to the presidency. No foreshadowing of what I see my political career doing, but I just want to say that it would be Harry Truman.
What did you want to be when you were growing up in Ohio?
I guess if putting it back myself in my shoes in Ohio, that was a pharmacist at the time, which I did do, and then quickly moved on from that.
What is your go-to karaoke song, Tim?
So this is a good one. I actually have never sang karaoke before. Right? I was waiting for a boo of something. But I guess if you want to say car karaoke, that would be anything Hamilton. We always will turn that on any road trips, driving around, and I will happily not throwing away my shot.
What are you reading right now, or what is the last book that you read?
Probably the Truman biography I was mentioning. It's one of those things. It's so long, but actually I pick it up and I read bits when I can. So it's when I'm not reading something Alexandria City plan wise, like the most recent, youth needs assessment that just came out. Then I'm hopping back to the Truman biography.
Nerd. In the best way. Okay, Tim, what is your favorite Alexandria restaurant and what do you order?
It's almost taboo to like name one restaurant. I would say.
Right, I can't get over these sound effects. Oh my gosh, sorry, Tim. Go.
Such great restaurants. I do find myself, if I'm hungry and want something at home, I'll get usually Spicecraft or something from Peace Out.
What is your sign? Today is Lunar New Year. And do you believe in astrology?
I hope I don't lose any votes for this. I really don't know what my sign is. I guess that means I don't believe in astrology. People usually tell me maybe it's Sagittarius. I was born in December, like mid to late December. But
I think that's Sagittarius. Okay.
Usually people ask me that and then they'll tell me what I am and then I promptly forget.
Okay. Tim, have you ever written your name in the snow?
Can you explain this one? It is on my bucket list to write my name in the snow with my pee. As a woman, I understand this is difficult. A girl can dream.
I have written my name in the snow with my hands.
Ooh, that's a very safe answer. We'll take it.
A little safe. A little safe. Tim, who is your best friend?
My best friend. I guess easy one is to say Alyssa. Been married for almost 14 years now, so I would say as close as any I could get.
All right, ding, ding, ding. We're at time.
Oh, okay, Tim, that was really fun. Thank you so much for being a good sport. I'm going to throw you over to Ryan now so we can start to get to know you as the city council candidate.
Okay, that was fun, but now let's get a bit serious. It's time to get to know you, the candidate. Every candidate has a standard 30-second elevator pitch. Pretend we're total strangers and tell us yours. Why are you running for city council in this primary?
Thank you. So I've been showing up for this community since the very day that we arrived. And I am in this race not to grow a fan club, but to actually get stuff done. I'm running to provide pragmatic leadership, and I've been serving in the trenches here for nearly a decade. I've been president of a civic association, and I'm now chair of the Economic Opportunities Commission. I've been out there doing the work, diagnosing the structural squeeze that our families are feeling here, and also advocating for the housing and small business changes that we need to see. And people who endorse me because they know I'm not here for popularity. I'm here to hit the ground running on day one and finally solve the income problem that is facing Alexandria.
Thank you, Tim. Over to Marta.
That was 48 seconds, Tim. That was pretty tight. Nicely done. Now
I usually try to stick very much to time. I know this is kind of out of order here, but it's that military thing, you've seen that consistently through my forums.
All right. Well, it's appreciated here on this podcast. Now, our loyal podcast listeners to the Liberally Social podcast know that we, at this point in our outline, normally dive straight into what we call the four corners policy issue conversations. But we're going a bit of a different route with our city council firehouse primary interviews because we're tight on time and keeping this tight as well. And starting with just one open-ended question for you, Tim. What policy topics are important to you and how would you address them on city council?
I'll dive right in. First and foremost, and you'll hear this consistently again, fiscal responsibility through growth to really address our income problem in the city. So many times we'll hear progressive promises on what things we would like to accomplish in the city, but we simply can't do that with our current budget state, and it's more pressing now more than ever. And relying on more money from Richmond is, something we can do. We can actually ask for that, but I believe it's not a long-term winning strategy. So we have to make those bold changes here to find creative income streams and to expand our commercial tax base. The second one would be affordability. So assuming we can actually make some inroads on that financial growth we need to see. We need to increase more housing. Housing needs to be connected to transit. We need to increase access to affordable childcare options, and take meaningful environmental action and start seeing these things as actual essential infrastructure and not just nice to haves. All of these things come together that make up the affordability equation. Third would be connectedness. I mean, in a couple ways. So through my EOC experience, I've seen that a lot of times things operate in silos, whether it's city departments or the private public relationships, different nonprofits out there doing work. I want to be the connective glue that brings everything together and help you communicate between those silos and actually break them down so we can be more efficient and deliver results for people. And then fourth would be equity through engagement. And so as a Delray Citizen Association chair, I've seen and brought people together for having conversations that we need to have in the community, but it also has given me an eye to where we fall short with community engagement. Our city is doing a better job of outreach in different languages and locations. We need to increase that and really meet people where they are so we can, reach those voices that are otherwise left out of the conversation. And we really need to be a safe harbor for everyone, regardless of zip code, national origin, immigration status. So that means actually having policies that create an environment where people feel safe and that this is a place that they can rely on.
All right. So if I can recap the four: 1, fiscal responsibility through growth; 2, affordability across all facets; 3, connectedness, glue; 4, equity through engagement.
Yes.
All right. Now, Ryan, as the real journalist on this interview, do you have any follow-up questions or things you want to dig into?
Yeah, I'm going to throw the same question over because I think a lot of people are asking it. We've seen it on social media a little bit. We have 5 candidates, who are all Democrat, who are running in this primary. Many of them, if you look at their websites, the social media, or what they're saying, many of them agree on the same things. And I'm not sure what your big takeaway from last night's forum was, or now that you've heard from the other candidates a little bit more. I'm wondering what you can tell us, what actually separates you from the other candidates. Why are you different? Why should people vote for you out of the 5?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I think that the fact that people are still asking this question means I'm not doing my job of really communicating how I'm different. What I heard last night and what I saw and continue to experience and hear from others as well is that we're all great people. We all have great intentions, for sure, and we all have generally the same progressive values. But really, what I hope people can see and take away is the depth of understanding of the issues that I bring to the table. There's things that I can't control, like my gender, like whether or not I can have kids or whatnot. Those are things I can't control, but what I can are what I've been doing in the city for the past 9 years. And I continue to hear that from community leaders, from electeds, former and present, that I don't just have many degrees or positions. I've been in the trenches doing work for years, advocating for change, standing up for zoning for housing, leading community discussions, reaching out to people who have been left out of the conversation. So these issues aren't new to me. And I think you could, if you were listening intently, you could hear that come out at the debate. I'm a pragmatic leader. I think the only one to recognize that we have to address the city's income problem. That is our most existential issue in the city, which unlocks the ability to do everything. And I think I'm also the most transparent with my views and how I, approach this candidacy. I didn't just show up to run. I had been planning and preparing for this moment for a long time. And that's present on my website through my Substack. And just want to keep plugging the Substack. People can go check it out. I do believe you all have a right to get to know us as much as possible. And that's what I started. My website was the first to have anything substantive on there about what I believe and everything. So that's how I separate myself.
Tim, I want you to elaborate a little bit further and want to know, what is your management style and how would you govern from the city council dais?
Yeah. So my management style, I think, really carries over from being a naval officer, and what I've learned is successful in leading those organizations. I can't just be a top-down leader and say, this is my idea, this is where I think we need to go, let's do it. It's really coming alongside people, understanding where they're trying to go as individuals, and really try to help them get to that point. It's collaboration. It's bringing more voices to the table and really trying to learn as much as I can, being in the weeds with the details, so that I can actually make a good informed decision as a leader. And what I mean by, by reaching out to people and learning their positions, I see that as voters. I see that as other stakeholders in this conversation, and really trying to give them agency and that seat at the table, so that we can come to a solution that actually works for everyone.
All right. Now, looking at the time, we have a little more time in our policy section here to go further into the meat. And so some of the topics that we particularly care about in the Liberally Social podcast are around climate and equity. Would you care to dive into either of those two topics a little further?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to go hand in hand, and I really think that's my systems approach. I mean, did you want me just to address, like, say one, and then you have another question, or just launch into something?
You can launch, man.
Okay. Want to respect the process here. This is something that I've seen from the Economic Opportunities Commission, because we're really focused on equity and addressing the needs of residents living with low income, which goes hand in hand with equity. We see, systematic, structural things that have led to where we're at today with the inequities we see. And so we really need a whole systems approach to actually move the needle on addressing these problems. So for with environmental policies and equity, I think of infrastructure investment that actually creates resilient infrastructure that is climate focused. I think of building policies and creating affordability through environmental resilience. We have to recognize that by making a building more environmentally friendly, it helps reduce utility costs, which goes right into affordability. And when we're talking about affordability, that's these larger apartment buildings that have long been neglected and that people are having to basically survive in for lack of any other option. So I think equity, we have to recognize there's systemic failures across the board, and it's going to require a systems approach, and seeing things like environmental action as not that nice to have. It's absolutely essential that we are addressing environmental action.
All right. I think.
Stunned.
Okay.
Well, it was very concise, and so I'm like, oh no, do we keep asking questions or do we move on?
Tim, let's let you off the hook. We've finished our policy chat, but before we call it, we'd love to give you a chance to brag a little bit about yourself. Share any endorsements you got, any achievements that you're particularly proud of.
Yeah, so this is one of the areas that I'm, I guess, historically not very good at, as being a very humble person generally. I tend not to try to brag about myself too much, but I think, what I will say is, I don't have a laundry list of endorsements. I think it's wonderful for people who do have those, and I think that's just a product of not having the same length of relationships with people. I'm growing those. I'm out there doing the work and establishing those relationships, and that's going to take some time. But like I said before, like I'm running to be a pragmatic leader, and I think my endorsements that I do have recognize that. I'm endorsed by Dr. Donna Kenley, school board member, also a 30-year Army colonel. It was something that was, really stood out to me as a meaningful endorsement, because she recognizes leadership, having been a leader at the highest levels in the Army. I'm also endorsed by Dr. David Speck. He has a doctorate as well. He has so many accomplishments himself as an Alexandria living legend. Interesting story of, formerly being a Republican, then turning Democrat. But I think that's super meaningful for me as someone who tries to be very pragmatic, focus on fiscal responsibility, and the fact that we need to grow. David recognized that. Big part of bringing the USPTO to Alexandria and having a growth mindset. So I'm endorsed by people for very specific reasons, and they care about the quality of results. And I think that is just comes back to the testament of why I'm different. I actually have results to show in the receipts. So I'll leave it at that.
Tim, I've just got to interject and say, I can't believe we've been recording for 20 minutes and you still haven't mentioned your Substack yet with all your ideas. Do you want to plug that real quick?
I mentioned it, but yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. So when I started this campaign, I recognized that it's more than 5 days, but it's still not a very long time. And I was trying to think through what ways we could really get voters to understand how I think and approach issues. And I would challenge everyone to ask the candidates, how do you approach an issue? How do you think about it? Because the issues of 5 years ago aren't going to be the same issues we experience today or in 5 years. So I have a Substack. Thank you, Marta. It's available on my website. I call it the deep dive. It's a very Navy nautical term to call it, but it's just, Substack, and you can find it on my website. It's on the top of it, deep dive on the right-hand side. But I've published a series of, articles that really just help you get a picture into my mind to the extent you want to go there. And see how I approach issues, think about the income problem, think about small business issues in the city, and talk about my work on the EOC. So I tried to be as transparent as possible. I haven't seen anyone else do something like that. So I guess that is a humble brag. Thank you very much, Marta. If I have more time, I'll say I'm a naval officer. I'm up for 05 this year, next month. So hopefully that'll be a successful promotion. I just got admitted to the Naval War College, so we'll see what happens with that. I don't know if I get members.
My hometown.
Oh, congrats.
There you go. So we'll see what happens. It's a remote program, but I think it's pretty rigorous. So I got elected. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I have a lot of rewards and accolades from the Navy side, but I tend not to focus too much on that because, again, I'm humbly come before you to put myself out there and ask for your vote.
All right.
You got the military efficiency here. I mean, I could go on and on, I guess, about other things. But
Tim, I have a follow-up. I'll jump in here quick, and I'm just wondering, frankly, why do you care so much? But you're involved. You said you've been involved since you moved here, and I'm just wondering, where does that come from? Have you always been that? Where does caring about your community come from?
The why, why are you doing this? And that's what is the eternal question. But no, it goes back to growing up in the small town I did. My dad was a 7th grade science teacher, and it was such a small school that everybody went through his class, including me. And he taught all the different, or coached all the different sports. So literally everybody in the town knew Mr. Laderach. And I thought that was so cool. I mean, he was so involved in everything. And he could be. We could afford to live in the town that we were in. It's a small town in Ohio, so it wasn't very expensive. But that's a sense of community that we experienced growing up. And I want to see that here. So that's one big why. Another one is growing up, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he had long believed that service doesn't end after you take off the uniform. He served his community every day through the end of his life. And that was my example growing up. It's what drew me to commission in the Navy, what drew me to healthcare to help other people. And when we were moving here with the Navy in 2017, we had moved to Jacksonville. We really didn't establish roots, didn't really get connected there. And so when we were making this next move, we're like, okay, we need to do something that will actually plug us in to the people who are making the community work. And so before we even got there, I looked up online, what could we volunteer for? And there was this Rebuilding Together Alexandria event by the Delray Business and Citizens Association. And so I signed us up. And so the very next day after getting here, I was dragging Alyssa out, not really dragging, she went voluntarily, but I was like, hey, we're going to go do this thing. She's like, what? Are you kidding me? So before any boxes really unpacked, we went and volunteered on this home site. And that's where we met the people who are making the community work. And, you get plugged in and really enjoy it, and that becomes your people. So just continuously trying to find ways to give back and live out that heart of service that was instilled in me early on.
I thought you were going to say something about trying out all these different exotic bourbons.
Not late enough in the day. I just have water in this cup here. But yes, Delray Bourbon Club lives on.
As you know, we generally, on the liberally social side, previously have given care packages to every single one of our guests before. That includes some kind of libation, either alcoholic or non. And we just didn't have time for that gift package this time. So
not get our act together for that.
Yeah, I
enjoy
know.
the gift while on air, or is it before or after?
Oh,
It depends.
Completely depends, but we did start off every podcast with the cheers. So,
well, I'll cheers to my water. Cheers to you all.
All right. And with that, I think that is all we've got. Tim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you all for doing this. It's so exciting. I never, thought of find myself here on the podcast, ever having listened to so many of your episodes before. I guess I had thought about it at some point, so that's not entirely true. But it's surreal to be experiencing it. So thank you all.
Awesome. All right. And with that, it's time to turn the lights up and turn the music down as our podcast party comes to a close. We are going to remind all of our frenemies in fake Alexandria and Arlington that those residents can't sit with us. And also cannot vote in this firehouse primary on Saturday. Ryan, take it away.
Yes, this has been a collaboration episode of Liberally Social and the Alexandria Brief City Council Firehouse Primary Series, where we have invited all of the candidates to join us, by the way. And if you have, you can find them all available at alexandriabrief.com, as well as you listen to your podcast. By tomorrow night around midnight, we'll have as many up as possible. This is brought to you by the Democratic Social Club of Alexandria and the Alexandria Brief. We'd like to thank our guests, Tim Laderach for Alexandria City Council. You can learn more at his website, timforalexandria.com. A reminder, the Democratic City Council Firehouse Primary is happening this Saturday, February 21st. Can you believe it? You can vote at Cora Kelly Rec Center in Beatley Library from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's too hard to do the applause and all the buttons while reading. There's also online voting for the first time. Can you believe it?
Woo! Online voting.
Online voting for the first time. Instructions are on the Alexandria Democratic Committee website. You can register up until 5 p.m. on Friday, this Friday, February 20th. You fill out the registration form at alexdems.org/elections to receive a ballot via email to vote on the Election Buddy website on Saturday during voting hours. You can join the Democratic Social Club on Facebook or on Instagram, demsocial@alx.com. For more information about the Liberally Social podcast, all of these will be available to listen to as well on their podcast once I figure out how to get the audio to them. You can follow the Alexandria Brief on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, or Substack for more information on news in the city. The creative and manual labor that made this Liberally Social and Alexandria Brief interview happen is done with love by Marta, Ann, and myself. Until the next time, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Bye.
Stay around for the back end. We'll say goodbye to Tim. Thanks for all for watching and listening. If you missed any portion of this, you can share it, watch it, listen, all of those good things, alexandriabrief.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts in just a few hours. Thanks for watching.